Have you ever had one of those days, or maybe weeks, where you feel like you're just running on a treadmill? You're exhausted, you've been incredibly busy, but you haven't actually gotten anywhere important. Well, today, we're going to crack open the playbook from one of the world's most elite consulting firms. We're going to pull out the core secrets of the McKinsey way and figure out how to go from just being busy to being truly effective. So, let's just start with that big question right here. Take a second and think about your own life. Are you busy or are you effective? Now, they might sound like the same thing, but trust me, they are worlds apart. And just being honest with yourself about that is the absolute first step. And this right here, this gets to the very heart of it. You see, efficiency over on the left, that's all about doing things correctly. It's about perfecting the process, becoming the fastest typist in the world. But effectiveness on the right, that's about doing the correct things. It's about making sure you're typing the right letter in the first place. One's about the how, and the other is all about the what, and most importantly, the why. So to get us there, we're going to break down 4 fundamental rules from the McKinsey approach. First up, we'll talk about why direction is more important than speed. Then we'll get into prioritizing importance over urgency. Third, we're going to harness the incredible 80-20 power rule. And finally, we'll look at building systems for daily execution that turn all these great ideas into action. Okay, let's dive right into our first rule, direction over speed. This is the foundation, It's all about finding the right road before you even think about putting the pedal to the metal. I love this quote from a senior McKinsey consultant. It's just pure wisdom. See, it's not about having a perfect, flawless map from the get-go. Nobody does. It's about constantly checking to make sure you're not speeding down the completely wrong highway. A tiny course correction early on can save you from perfectly and efficiently executing a total disaster of a plan. Think of it this way. You could be an amazing driver, right? Hands at 10 and 2, weaving through traffic like a pro. But if you're laser focused only on the car right in front of you, you could be driving full speed toward a cliff. The effective person isn't just the driver. They're also the navigator. They're the one who remembers to keep their head up, check the map, and make sure every turn is actually getting them closer to the destination. Okay, let's move on to rule number 2, which tackles one of the biggest enemies of effectiveness, what I like to call the tyranny of the urgent. This is how you escape that constant feeling of just putting out fires all day and actually start focusing on the stuff that will move the needle in your life. And here is the legendary tool to do it. The importance/urgency matrix. It's so simple, but so powerful. Basically, every single task that lands on your plate, every email, every request, falls into one of these 4 boxes. Figuring out which box is the secret to taking back control of your day. So first up, we've got quadrant A. This is the important and urgent stuff. These are the real crises, the last-minute deadlines, the fires you have to put out. We all have to visit this quadrant sometimes. But if you live here, you're on a one-way trip to stress and burnout. This is the very definition of being busy and tired. Now, let's jump down to quadrant C, because this one is sneaky. These tasks are masters of deception. They feel urgent, but they are not important. Think of most interruptions, a ringing phone, somebody else's minor problem that they've made your emergency. Their urgency tricks you into feeling productive, but really, they're just pulling you away from your real goals. And then there's quadrant D, the true danger zone. These are the things that are neither important nor urgent. This is the mindless scrolling on your phone, the busy work you do to avoid the hard stuff. Spending too much time here is a guaranteed way to make zero progress on anything that actually matters to you. So where's the magic? What's the goal? It's right here. Quadrant B is your target. This is where true effectiveness is born. It's the important but not urgent work. Long-term planning, building relationships, learning a new skill, taking care of your health. This is the stuff that ultimately determines your quality of life and success. This is where you have to proactively, intentionally invest your time. All right, our third rule is a massive paradigm shift. It's the 80-20 rule. It's built on a really simple but incredibly powerful idea. The relationship between what you put in and what you get out is rarely, if ever, a 50-50 split. The whole game is about finding the few important inputs that create most of the impact and learning to ignore the trivial many. So, these numbers, 80 and 20, they're not some kind of exact scientific law, but they represent a powerful concept. It's a pattern that you will see everywhere once you start looking for it, that a small percentage of your efforts, that vital 20%, often leads to a huge, outsized percentage of your results, that massive 80%. This chart shows a classic business example. It's super common to find that something like 80% of a company's money comes from just 20% of its clients. The big million-dollar question then becomes, are you spending 80% of your time on those clients? The 80-20 rule forces you to find that vital 20% and just double down on it.
And this isn't just theory, okay? Look at these real-world examples. One insurance company found that less than 10% of their clients were bringing in 90% of the revenue. That discovery totally changed their business. Another company found that just 5 chief criminal problems were responsible for almost all of their profit loss. It even applies to product design. The reason your fridge has the main part on top is because we use it about 80% of the time. It's everywhere.
All right, let's bring it home with our final rule. Look, knowing your direction and your priorities is fantastic, but without a system to actually execute on them, it's all just a nice idea. This section is all about turning this powerful theory into daily, repeatable action. This quote, well, it says it all, doesn't it? Time is the one resource you can never, ever get back. So mastering your time isn't just some nice skill to have. It is the absolute foundation of being able to manage anything else in your life. And the key tool here is so simple, it's almost deceptive: a daily plan. Just taking 5 minutes every morning to create a simple table or list, well, it clarifies your purpose for the day. It forces you to prioritize. It saves you from just drifting aimlessly. And, this is a big one, it actually boosts your enthusiasm because you can see your progress. This system extends to your physical world too. A cluttered desk almost always leads to a cluttered mind. And the process is simple. First, clear everything away except the one task you're working on. Second, see that one task through completion. No multitasking. And third, when it's done, do a quick reset. Tidy up before you start the next thing. This builds an incredibly powerful habit of focus. And here's one last fantastic piece of McKinsey wisdom. Don't try to boil the ocean. You can't do it all yourself, and you don't know everything. Recognizing your own limits and leaning on the knowledge and skills of your team, that's not a weakness. It's a core component of being truly effective. So when you start to put all these pieces together, choosing your direction, focusing on what's truly important, executing with a system, it adds up to way more than just a set of productivity hacks. It really cultivates an entire mindset. It's a way of thinking that chooses courage and imagination over just taking it easy. It's about tapping into that freshness, that energy for life. And I want to leave you with this final thought from the source material, because it's just so profound. It suggests that what truly makes us old isn't the number of birthdays we've had, it's when we desert our ideals. It's giving up on our enthusiasm that wrinkles the soul. So being effective isn't just about getting more stuff done, it's about keeping that fire, that purpose-driven spirit alive and well. So as we wrap this up, I want you to make this practical. Right now, forget about the 100 things on your to-do list for just a second. Based on everything we just talked about, ask yourself this one question. What is the single most important, the one correct thing that you're going to dedicate your focus to this week? Find that thing, and you're already on your way.